So our quiz will be on Friday. You guys want to make sure you guys bring a calculator. Probably don't need one like anything, too desperately, but because there's a lot of just adding and multiplying. The biggest thing is understanding what I'm asking you to do for each of the problems. I think that's where some people have been tripped up the most, is what exactly I want from you when I ask you guys a question. So like these first couple of questions, you look at this, because this chapter we learned about FOIL, but not every question is going to be FOIL. Not every question is going to be factoring. So you have to make sure you understand what I'm asking for. So in this first section, and it won't say this in the title and in the homework, we girls really need to stop talking. This is the last time I'm going to talk to you guys about that, otherwise I'm just going to separate you. So these first couple of sections our first section was adding and subtracting. Now again, on a quiz it's not going to say, hey, you need to add and subtract. So just be careful about that. These are not FOIL questions because they have this addition and subtraction in them. So notice those differences. If you look further down the page, then it becomes FOIL. So for example 1, it says to simplify and write in standard form. Now, I know some people had questions about standard form. What's standard form again? No, what do I mean by standard form? Yeah. Yeah, like we talked about, it's like lining up in order of height. It's the biggest exponent in the front all the way down to the smallest. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to be strategic and be smart about adding in the right order. So I'm not going to start with m to the second. I'm going to start with this 3m to the fourth. So when I do this negative 3m to the fourth is going to go, we're going to add it with what? 7m to the fourth. So negative 3, positive 7, and we're going to get, what do we get when we add those? 4. And then remember, the exponent doesn't change at all. So it's just 4m to the fourth. So we're just combining like terms here. Next one I'm going to look at is which one? The second power, yep. So this 4m to the second plus a 4m to the second is going to be 8m to the second. And then lastly, we're going to do the negative 5 and the positive 3m. So negative 5, positive 3, so minus 2m. Now, don't overthink this. Don't say, oh yeah, now she taught that factoring stuff, so I should do that here. We just stop. If it says to simplify, write in standard form, this is all I want you to do. So do not combine that with what we just did. You can factor this, but I don't want you to. So don't just choose to factor because you can. So this is all I'm asking you to do. Simplest standard form, that's what that looks like. Okay? Our next one, though, is asking us to subtract. So be careful in this case. We're distributing in a negative. So I have to distribute in that negative 1 there. So that's going to change those signs. So that's going to become a negative 5x to the third. And then what kind of 4? Positive. Okay? Now I get to combine my like terms. And I'm going to focus first on those highest powers. So those x to the thirds. So I'm going to put these two together. And again, we're just adding here, or subtracting. So negative 7 minus 5, negative 12x to the third. And 9 and 4 is positive 13. And then we can't combine them because they're not like terms, so we just stop. So the next thing I ask about here is talking about the leading coefficient, the degree, and the numbers of terms for this first example. So if you want to take a minute to look at that, see if you guys remember what I meant by that.
Do you guys know what time you started
Okay, all right. Because I told her usually we're done by 10:30, but she needs you sooner. I'll look at my email in a second, but. All right. So, all right, and what we're doing now is for this first example, I'm asking you guys to name the leading coefficient, the degree, and the number of terms for this. Does anyone remember how to do any of those or one of them that they know the answer to? What do we got? What do you think you know? What do you want to? The leading coefficient should be the 4. We call this like the line leader. So it's the front coefficient. It's the front number. It should be a 4. So it's like who's in the first in the order of the line. So the leading coefficient we'd say would just be 4 in this case. How about the degree? Anyone remember what that was? It's the highest exponent. So what is it in this case? Also 4, but a different 4 here. So also 4. And I will ask you guys just to do something like this on the test or the quiz, whatever you want to call it. And then the number of terms. Does anyone think they know that? What do you think? I couldn't tell if you wanted to be 2 or 3. We're going to go with 3. We have 3 terms. They're separated by addition and subtraction. So we have 1, 2, 3 terms. So this is in standard form, and knowing how to find those different pieces is part of what we want to be able to do. That's a 3. I hear a niner in there. Lucas, do you know Tommy Boy? No? It's from Tommy Boy. All right. It's a very quotable movie.
Miss Hoff, I know.
Yeah, Mrs. Huff, yeah. That's what she always says, that's why she likes Peyton, because he knows Tommy Boy. All right. Okay, guys. So, our next thing. So, again, in the quiz, it will not tell you what we're up to. It's here it says simplify, write in standard form. I asked you actually the same directions, but what we're doing here is we're distributing or we're multiplying or we're doing FOIL. We're kind of trying to, this is being multiplied into the polynomial. And I will write FOIL in parentheses because sometimes we have to FOIL and then other times not necessarily. So here we're multiplying. This is stuck to the parentheses. So we're going to distribute in. That 3/8 of the second is going to move into each of these terms. And so again, understanding how many terms are there is important. So that 3/8 of the second is going to distribute in. And we're going to multiply each term kind of using our exponent rules from last chapter, which was like forever ago now. So 3/8 of the second times 4/8 of the third. What do we get here? Yeah, Gavin?
For 3/8 to the second power times 4, you talk about that one?
Yeah,
Would it be 12/8 to the fifth power?
very good. Oh, so 12/8 to the fifth. Very good. You haven't even been here. Good work, Gavin. So yeah, that first term. Brought a ringer in. All right, 3 to the second times a negative 5a. What do we get, Brady?
Negative 15, 8 to the third.
8 to the third, very good. And then our last there, 3 to the second times that negative 7. Yeah, Decker? Negative 21, 8 to the second. And again, this is all we're doing. Remember, this is the opposite of factoring. This is distributing, so we're just going to leave it this way. So we want to just leave it in simplest form, standard form, we're good to go. Okay? Now example 4 is kind of combining the last 2 sections. So we're distributing, but then we're also combining like terms. So what we're doing here is I'm taking this 3x and I'm multiplying it in, but it's only stuck to that And then once I get that, then I'll combine it with the second half. So here I have a 3x to the third. And this is going to be
minus 15x to the square.
15x to the second. Now, these parentheses aren't really necessary. If you like them, keep them. If not, I'm just going to bring this out. I don't really need the parentheses. Distributing in a positive doesn't really do anything. Okay, so I'm ready to combine our like terms now. So we have 3x to the third and a positive x to the third. So what's that going to end up being? Yeah, go ahead, Brady.
4x to the third.
4x to the third, because this is really like a 1 there. Okay? Then I have the negative 15 and negative 2, so negative 17, right? X squared. All right, our next types of problems, this is where we brought in FOIL. So this is where we talked about first outer, inner, last, just to help us remember the different parts of this. So we'll go through these and then we'll finish these last 3 and then we'll take a break. So hang with me here for a little bit longer. Make sure you guys are double checking if you're like moving ahead of us, that you're kind of going back and checking that everything's going okay. So where FOIL comes in, and again, it's not going to say do FOIL here. Like it's not going to give you that like prompt. It's going to assume that you know. Anytime I'm multiplying 2 by 2, think 2 times 2 is 4. That's where the 4 letters in FOIL come from. And again, you can do this using FOIL. Otherwise, you can also use that box method that if you talked with Miss Miller or me, we might have mentioned this to you if it was you could use this as well. Whatever method makes the most sense to you. So first, 4n times n is 4n to the second. Same thing would happen down here. Outer, 4n times 5, negative 5, so negative 20n. Then we have inner, so negative 3n. And then you have last. Miss Miller, are you done? You're going to be able to fight off everyone?
Oh, could you hear that?
No.
I'm gonna be in here anyway. Yes.
Yes.
We'll protect everyone.
Officer Tross is working with us all on like safety drills.
But I'm gonna be in here.
Right. Most of the over half of your day. Oh.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not even in here, so.
Yeah.
My room's gonna be the decoy room.
Oh.
I'm gonna leave it open with no one in it.
Oh. So we then take this and we combine those like terms like we've been doing, and we again just put them together. You add those numbers in the front. Okay? Why don't you guys take a minute to try number 5? If you haven't already. Yeah. Kind of like a picture, right?
Oh, that is.
I mean, everyone, I mean, are you gonna access to it? You are so lucky. You travel more than anyone else I know. Yeah, no, we'll figure it out. I mean, we'll see what I can. So, would it help to have notes ahead of time? Would it like be good to have like a filled-in version of them, like since you won't be able to necessarily watch the videos? We're doing factoring, like more factoring. Yeah, you could probably. We'll see what. Let me get you some stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So let's go to number 5 if you haven't done this already. So again, first, outer, inner, last. Does anyone like seeing the box method? Box method, anyone? Yeah, I'm going to show that too. Okay. And it's whatever makes the most sense to you guys. I don't care which method you guys use. I don't really care if you draw arrows or you don't, but long as we get our right answer, however you get there, we're good. So 2p times 3p is 6p to the second. 2p times 4 is 8p. We do those inner two terms, so that's a negative 3p. And then last, you get a negative 4. And then these middle two get to match, or they match each other so you can combine. So 8 minus 3 is 5p. Now, where it gets a little, any questions on that? I think you guys are, where it gets a little more complicated, you guys, is when we do 2 times 3. So this might be a place that using that box method, like, I don't really, like, the box method for here, I don't think that's too hard to keep track of. Once we get to 6 terms, I think it might be easier for some people. So I will show both ways. She did, right here. Are you? Yeah. But it's a positive 8 and a negative 3. So it's 8 minus 3. I think you just made them, or maybe that you made the 3 positive, I don't know. You're not really that far off there. Girls can go ahead, yeah. Oh, yeah. Only thing is, if you're able to come back, you know, I don't know if you said you guys, we do have a note to it. So you, but if you can't, no big deal. I don't know, she said she needed you for like a half hour. If you can come back, otherwise it's fine. Either way. All right? Okay. So you guys, so what we're doing here is, again with this, we're doing distributing. This 3y is going to all 3 of those. And again, maybe the box method shows this a little bit better. So this is 3y to the third is my first term here. Because it's y times y squared. So either one is fine. You do not need to do both ways. 3y times 5y is 15y to the second. Then I have 3y times negative 4, which is a negative 12y. Once I have that, then I'm going on to the next row, or the next term there, that negative 2. So, pink's gonna flash, we don't want pink. Okay, so now we're gonna do negative 2. So this negative 2 is going to go to all 3 now. So negative 2 times y squared is a negative 2y squared. The negative 2 times 5y is a negative 10y. And then the last term, negative 2 times negative 4 is a positive 8. And then we're just going to combine our like terms again. Now just be careful as you guys do this. Go in standard form. It's usually pretty nice. It works in order usually pretty well. 3y to the second doesn't have anything to go with. But these two are alike, or they show up this way here. So 15 minus 2 is 13. Negative 12, negative 10. So that's a negative 22y. And then that's that 8's all by itself. All right. So we're going to take a little break here.